Hi guys, welcome back to another forecast and projections. This will be for our new moon that takes place on October 25th. This will be under Scorpio, so one sign away from Libra, and they're talking about this like passionate love connection that they have. So Venus is definitely a channel card that came out for us. So they talk about this solar eclipse. So, not only is it a new moon, but it's also like double shadow, you know? So I definitely feel like it's like there's going to be some things going on. I feel like we won't have all the information. So definitely High Priestess, kind of take a step back, have a seat, let things unfold. You know what I mean? I feel like there's going to be things that present themselves and we're just like, what do we do? Like, that panic kind of sets in. But it's just like, watch what you're giving your energy to, especially because of the double shadow here. I would definitely do a meditation. And, I always say this, and then it's just like, I didn't do a meditation with before retrograde. And I really suffered. Like, that was a real physical one for me. So things to be mindful is genitals, anus, urethra, and prostate. So just be mindful of that. Just be gentle with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you hear certain glands are going to be extra sensitive. So, treat them with respect. You know what I mean? They're saying don't go so hard. I'm. Wow. Spirit definitely has a sense of humor. So our channel bay leaf is peace, prosperity, and then they said love and hope. So I definitely get this like kind of combative tension like in our household where it's not combative like physically, but it's just like there's this. I feel like everybody's trying to be the I guess the monarch. You know what I mean? It's like the young cubs are fighting against each other, and then they think they could come after me, and I'm like, try again, my dear. You know what I mean? It's like because the alpha has unfortunately, transformed, so they feel like there's this void that they need to fill. It's like, no, let's just be a unit. You know what I mean? So you may be having that kind of energy. That's where I feel like, I definitely get a lot of fire. We have this Knight of Wands. This boy, this guy, he every single deck he was popping out. I'm like, calm down. Let's look at this Nine of Wands. So I wasn't gonna put him out, and then I put him back in the deck, and he came out again. I'm like, are you serious? So, he came out in the first deck that I pulled from the Circle deck. You'll see here, the Circle of Life tarot, and I'm like, well, I'm not really feeling him. He's just like, oh no, I'm here. So we're gonna burn our bay leaf safely. You can see my little cast iron plate that I burned it on. Make sure you do it in a safe area. And they definitely told us to, burn an incense, so I'm going to do that as well. My allergies are, been just, I like to sleep with my window open, and now is not the time, because everything is freezing, and then it starts to warm up, and then all the pollen gets released. All the hay that's getting, so I'm just going to bring this around. Bring in some positive light and juju in. One thing they were saying while I was putting the incense away there, I put it in my planter so the ashes don't go everywhere. They're saying that there's a female energy that is seeking more privacy. So it could have been like where it's like you're in a home of a lot of masculine energy, but it's just like, time to put music on and do your nails. And I just feel like it's been one thing after another. And I feel like definitely rest and rejuvenation here. I feel with that. I also feel like it's like we need time to woosah. It doesn't matter who you are, male, female, masculine, feminine energy, whatever this is. If you feel like you need that time to woosah, definitely do it. I was definitely a child that loved playing music and just being my own little bubble, drawing or doing whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. There's always this, we need to sit there and get out there and socialize. And it's like, yeah, every time you socialize, it's like, So, Moon in Scorpio creates the need to delve into our feelings as deep as possible. I definitely feel like inward healing, you know. Um, they were saying there's some things that have been standing out. I was watching the second part of Atlanta Housewives. Like, I'm behind in everything because I've been working a lot, which is no problem with that. I don't mind it. But you know what? Uh, oh my gosh, what is her name? I could see her freaking. How do I not know her name? One of them was talking about, like, even in the darkest things that we go through, we could still transform and come out of this and still be a bright star again. And it's like, yes, that was a time out. We were going against ourselves, or this was not meant to be in our life anymore. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we get to a point in life where they're like, you don't need this person in your life anymore, because maybe they're just staying around because it's just like a coping mechanism, like a safety blanket. But it's just like they knew if they transformed to the other side of things that you would be okay. You're a lot stronger than you think. We always discredit ourselves because we've been told this. Remember, this goes back to childhood. What have you been told as a child? And I definitely was told everything that, nobody should hear. And it's just like there's a difference when trying to push our kids to strive to greatness and sit there and saying, like, you know what, I know this sucks right now, but you will get through this. So let's, like, keep pushing forward. And when they do, it's like, damn, I'm glad I listened. You know what I mean? There is also a point of breaking children too. But, I feel like in this, sometimes we don't understand, things. And, oh gosh, what is it called? Not The Resident. New Amsterdam. He was saying the reason you can't get over her or move forward is because you're remembering the wrong things. You know what I mean? And when I remember, I remember great moments, but there's also some things in there that you're just like, Like, we were walking on the beach today and I remembered something and I'm just like, I wish I would have known those kind of things before, we got serious. Like, we got serious quickly, but it's just like, but it's just like at the same time, it's like, I don't regret my children or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, would I have these little beautiful babies if I was with someone else? Who knows? I'm definitely grateful that those are my sons. My ride or dies. We definitely are a stronger unit. So, you desire meaningful emotional exchange now more than ever. Any other time, even if it is not easy, you feel focused to change many things. I definitely feel like that. Like, it's like I want a meaningful, like, I was saying to certain people that I read for, it's like, you want to grow in a relationship. Both of you should grow. You want someone that lifts you up. You want to be, they want someone that lifts them up. You know what I mean? If you're just there to fight and combat with each other, some people like fighting. They like excitement. They feel like it's exciting. Oh, he's jealous. Oh, he loves me. It's like, okay. Me, it's just like, damn. Just help me out when I need your help. I shouldn't have to ask you for help. Shallow relationships do not satisfy you because they're not purifying enough. I definitely felt like, I was lucky that the fact that we were together for 10 years and we still had things to talk about. We just lay in bed and just talk about things, just like, the world and, things like, we would talk about aliens and the universe and, spirituality and religion and all these wonderful things, and it's like, if you're able to have an open conversation like that without getting combative, then you got something special. We have two major holidays coming up with Shakut, and then we have Torah Shavuot. The first one is celebrating the fall harvest. That's coming up on Sunday, in a full moon. You know what I mean? And I'm used to having full moons on Halloween, and this year it's we're having a new moon. It's kind of weird. Then the following weekend we have Shimshat Torah, and this is like celebrating the laws. So you read the Ten Commandments, you read, I believe, the Book of Exodus. This dog, I swear. So it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's a reflection, especially with Shakot. We sit there, we we stay up, you have, go out for picnics, you recognize how our ancestors were out in the wilderness for so long and they survived, and we're definitely talking about survival here, that there's going to be certain things that we feel uncertain of. And it's like, how will I, evolve in this situation? How will I, you know what I mean? Because I know for myself, I'm not like technically, savvy, You know what I mean? So I'm always worried that, yes, there are people that just take to it. Like, Shane was one of those people. It's just like, show him once, he knew exactly what you're doing. Me, it's like, show me once, but it's going to take me time to adapt to whatever the situation is. But I will definitely thrive. But it takes me a little longer than others. But it's like something like that. It's just like, you get worried some because you're just like, eh. But with practice, like anything, the more you put into it, the better you will get. You know what I mean? So different practices is what they're saying. So when we're talking about Shemshat Torah, it's like going within, just like Yom Kippur, and it's just like, what are the things that I can change? What are the things I could do to raise the vibration of the world, raise the vibration around me? Bringing in peace. And that's one of the words that were on the bay leaf. So it's like, how can I change and evolve to make not only myself but the environment around me a better place? Bringing in that positivity, bringing in that light. It starts with us. We don't like what's going on. It's like, well, what am I doing to add to this chaos? What am I doing that maybe aggravating the situation? Because sometimes it is us. Sometimes we're in a bad mood and we bark and they bark back, and it's just like, it's a barking match. So it's just like, with myself, it's like both of them are evolving into young men. So it's like I said, they're trying to be like, puff out their chest, and it's like, I'll deflate it right quick. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't the one. So in that kind of way. But it's just like, going back to peace and love, because I know deep down in our hearts we love each other deeply. It's just now it's just a barking match. So I like the fact that we have enough space where we can all spread out enough so we can all just like, take 5. You know what I mean? Like, just everybody go to their own corner and chill out. So we're going to start off with our hexagram here. This was a channeled hexagram. I haven't done this in a while. I feel drawn to do it, but I'm trying to make the videos as short as possible. But it's also, they're all timestamped too. If this is something that doesn't resonate with you, definitely, like, subscribe, comment, share, and just skip to the timestamp that, resonates with you most. If, this doesn't resonate with you. So we got Shen, which is heaven. So this is Shen. And then we got sun, which is wood. And I feel like, I know sun means wood, but for me, sun, I feel like the sun card. I feel like this radiant light. I feel like with wood, I feel like it's solid. You know what I mean? I feel like you're, when we think about the sun card, just like the child on top of this horse, you will be victor wearing the wreath. You will be successful. Like the sunflowers in this card, success will surround you. I just feel like light. I feel like a lot of positive life. Like, even if we're friends, some of us are friends on Facebook, you could see some of the pictures I was taking, and it was like the moon was really fighting to get through the clouds. And it's like, that's how the light is. Even though in the darkness, the clouds were covering it. And even though the clouds were covering it, it was still there. It was beaming through. You know what I mean? And I feel like this change, and nobody likes change. And that's the thing with this. This equals the number 9. I feel like we're on the brink of change. I feel like something is about to come to an end. I feel like we're in this, like, kind of void of course time. You would get, like, if you follow Astrology Answers and they do their daily horoscope, they put that, like, void of course. It's like, basically do what you always do. Find your peace in your day. Wake up, start with a grateful heart. With me, thank you, Lord, for another blessed day, for keeping us united as a family, for, allow us to lay down in peace and sleep in harmony, because we know how life can change. Our life changed and we didn't even realize it until the police came knocking on our door. You know what I mean? It was just a very weird day that day. The day that changed our life forever, but it's just like, at the same time, like they told me, and, so boldly reminded me, is like every single thing I needed was provided. So that's one thing. It's just like, we are resilient, and that's what I could see her face, but I can't think of her name. Why? And she's always stirring in the pot, Oh, man. Dang it. Anyway, but, you know what I mean? It's just like, she was like saying that resilience, like, even though when we're low, it's like, for myself, and I, always, and I've said this before, I encourage people to, maybe that's what they grew up with. Maybe this is their time to reconnect with it. And it's not so much, you have to be devoted all of a sudden. It's like, no, maybe that's something that, you watch, a video, watch your feeds. There's going to be things that inspire you. But I feel like with this change, it's going to feel uncertain, but I feel like you'll get through it. I just feel like it's just another thing. You know what I mean? Isn't that how it always is? They're saying corporate. So isn't that how it always is? It's always something there. So small influences. A gentle wind gathers clouds, but still there is no rain. Soft influences, as the power smally forces accumulates, making time for smooth and friendly pursues. The ebb and flow of events are like waves in the sea. There are periods of low tide. At present, more sweeping actions are impossible or inappropriate. You know, definitely, like, I can speak to that. It's like, if anyone did say or do something right now with what's going on with us, it's like it would be inappropriate. You know what I mean? I definitely want to be a positive light to that person, but it's just like, you know, it's also respecting the fact that they're just like, keeping people at a distance. But small matters ultimately lead to bigger and better things when attended with success. So again, with the sun, I know sun is supposed to mean wood, but for me, when they're showing me that channel card of the sun, that's what I'm seeing, the sun. So, I talked about this fire, this Knight of Wands. So there's an influence of fire here. I have fire. Well, Libras all have fire in them, but it's like that fire, and that's where my temper comes in. When the tide is rolling in, it means ride the waves. They are reckoning like they are now. However, focus on the little things. What can we control? Like, with ourselves, it's like I'm coming in to do a test in the basement. Test leading into construction. It was supposed to be one thing. It was supposed to be done by 3:30. Nope. They were here till 10:30 at night. No one ate dinner. It just wrecked my whole day. That whole day led to 3 weeks of nonstop BS in the house. And I'm just like, are you effing serious? I would joke around with them. I'm like, you should just build an office here. I said, you're here so much. And he just looked at me and I'm just like, I'm not kidding. Like, this is wreaking havoc on my day-to-day life. Like, you need to piss off. When you cannot do much to affect large matters. So before I got into my story, it's just like I needed to prioritize what was important. What is the top things on my list? What I need to accomplish in the children. So, even if that was the smallest things that got done, it's like at least it was productive in that way. You know what I mean? Because it was really... Prepare for the waves of stronger moves in the future. Use your intuition to chart your long-term course, but avoid bold action. And that's the thing right now. I think, some people like to act, and I'm definitely one of those people, act and then think later. Me, I'm thinking from an empathetic situation. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if you can't think with empathy with someone else and you're a vulture, then it's like everybody's observing that you're being a vulture. You know what I mean? So it's just like, taking a step back and just being compassionate at this time. You don't need to kick people while they're down. They are unlikely to work. This is a better time to refine existing abilities or develop new talents. So I definitely feel like going within. I definitely feel like evolving to another level. You know what I mean? Definitely meditation is evolved to something different. So, you know what I mean? I feel like if you're someone prone to the shadow side, and I'm definitely someone that's prone to go within a little too much, I'm definitely one of my biggest critics. But it's just like, I always try to shine. Even when I can't shine, you know what I mean? For myself, I try to shine for others. You know what I mean? Showing up for people, encouraging them. I may not talk to myself that same way, or it's like, yeah, do this, this, this. And it's like, why can I never tell myself that when I'm going through this exact same thing? I sit there and bully myself even worse. You know what I mean? But, it's like learning to love yourself. It's like being your, parent to your younger self. That young person inside you still exists. You know what I mean? So doing little things that make you happy, even if everyone's just kind of looking at you sideways, like, aren't you a little too old for that? It's like, just because my earth age says this is what my age is, does not sit there and define who my soul is. Yeah, maybe my earth side is saying this, but my soul side is saying something different. You know what I mean? I do what makes me happy. As long as you're not hurting no one, do what makes you happy. And I definitely feel like what they're saying with the ebb and flows in life, Don't make bold moves or moves out of desperation. You know what I mean? We were talking about that with Throne Thursday, because before Yom Kippur prayers and everything came in. But it's just like, sitting there, and it's just like, again, being, I love this. Uh, they don't call themselves a synagogue, but because they like welcome everybody, so they don't want to say that they're a synagogue, because then there's these like kind of things that are implemented. So they're like, it has that, like, what I believe in. It has the roots are based on the Hebrew faith, but in a positive way. All are welcome. They sat there, they opened up the ark, and they were like, come and ask for what you wish. And he was just like, be a better self, be a better light to people around you. Even when we don't understand what our life is going through, does not mean we have to sit there and take it out on the world. We have to sit there, and it's like, someone comes to you, it's like, yeah, I'll be there for you as much as I can. You know what I mean? If you want to open up and say, hey, I'm kind of going through something myself, I can't really assist you too much, but I'll try and be there for as much as I can. Earth is definitely going through a transition. We're going from, like, I swear, it's like so warm during the day. Like, I was literally wearing shorts on Friday, and it's just like, now the night for a couple of nights there is going to like -1. And it's like, yeah, the earth is transforming. It's alerting everything around it in the world. Like, we're about to transition into, cold, so it's like preparing, you know what I mean? So I feel like, if you're someone that goes through the winter blues, maybe it's like, prepare yourself, get outside in the sun more. Yes, Sonny, come over here. This dog is driving me cuckoo. Come on. So I feel like, preparation, especially with the new moon. It's like, like I said, if, with the double shadow, if you're someone that is prone more to the shadow side, and your head is your worst enemy when it goes through those cycles, it's like, get yourself out in the sun, get that sleep, I'm not saying, I know a couple people in my life where it's like they need to shut down their brain so they can sleep. You know what I mean? If you can't find anything that resonates with you, then it's just like, maybe seek the doctor. You know what I mean? I know there's some things, I say melatonin because it's gentle. Take one. If you're someone that, me, I'm like, so let's go, let's go, let's go. It's just like, I wear myself out, but I love it because it's just like, there's no time for that to jibber jabber. You know what I mean? I just hit the pillow, I'm out. That's what I love. It's when I'm laying there and I can't sleep, it's just like, that's when it starts. So for me, preparation would be going for walks, going or doing meditation. You know what I mean? Doing things that make me laugh. Watch comedies. Watch things that make you laugh, that make you smile, that really light you up. Do those things. So I'm going to start with our channel messages. So the ruins were channeled. The hexagram, ancient Chinese oracle. So is the Viking Runes strength. And destiny was very strong as well. So I was just like, pull that one. So China taking over tech field with new neo technology. It's so weird. It's like, it kind of looks like the Matrix with the numbers, but it was just like, it looks like a keyboard, and it's like dark, and then it's like the underneath glows. So it's somehow they've turned nuclear waste into something positive, but I don't feel like it's been tested enough to realize that it has side effects. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're touching it all the time, and then it's like you start absorbing it, like, through touch. Turning waste into something positive, so I feel like it's the adverse effects. I feel like with their faux sun that they built there, and they put it out to gain energy. They only put it up for 16 seconds, but it's so strong. I feel like that's why their water evaporated. Like, they're like, all of a sudden all the water's gone. I'm like, yeah, because you have that bloody thing in the sky on top of the sun. I'm like, what are you doing? I can only imagine what kind of effects it's going to have on animals and humans. So they're talking about that DT, I'm trying to be nice, behind a lot of world secrets getting out for financial gain, to curry favor with the worldwide popularity, someone to hide, someone to hide, somewhere to hide in the future. Just make sure I'm the right ones. wanted to cause a nuclear war with the Chinese to gain favor with friends. So Kim Jong Un, friends with the wrong people, so morally wrong here. So Kim Jong Un, that person over in Russia. So they're in high places. So he knows if he goes there, he can hide out. No one's gonna uh, exonerate him. No one's gonna sit there and exile him expedite him back to the U.S. Will hide out in Palestine. I don't know why he would hide out in Palestine, but that's what they're saying. Uh, they're calling him trash. So Brits will turn on him. Charles not a fan of our fearless leader there, TJ. They're saying poor Canada. So somehow we're going to feel some sort of effect because of the way that's going on. So it looks like before his mother's passing, he was pushing for her to apologize. He knew she was passing, so it's like you're not really going to be around to see the effects of it. So it's like, the Pope came over to tour. She did that. Then it would really, curry favor with him because it's like, oh, I got them to apologize. I got them to come over. And it's like, if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't have done it. They're saying that Pope has a moral compass, but I feel like he will pay for that greatly, and I feel like it will pass down to us. I'm not sure what we export to the UK, but I feel like it's going to be when T was in power in the US. It's like we'll have to pay some sort of tariff. They're saying because of they're going to use this as an excuse. I feel like they're using everything for an excuse. Canada is putting a tax on food as of January, February. Butter is $10 in Canada, like a brick of butter. There's nothing special about it. They're going to say that because your Iran is kind of hoarding oil. They're saying that it's going to double, triple. It's just like it's going to be impossible for people to get to work and take their kids to school. And, it's going to be impossible to sit there and buy this groceries. It's like, who's going to be buying this stuff? Oh, well, you'll have to buy because you'll have to survive. And it's like, well, how are you going to survive if you work and it basically goes all to taxes? In Canada, they've upped our CPP or Canada Pension Plan. It only funnels out so much. It's not even enough. It's just like, what are they doing here? So it looks like he's going to try and push Charles to apologize. Will not apologize for others' mistakes. Thinks JT is a prick for trying to push Queen Mom to apologize. Disowned. So they're showing a blast. It looks like a nuclear blast to me. It looks like, I don't know if it's Spain or underneath Spain. It hits a corner. It was like, it was a mislaunched missile. It was meant to hit Britain, but it hits underneath Spain there. So right on the corner. They will feel the effects of it because you could see it. And I feel like it's a nuclear because the way that it just has the sonic wave in the water, and you could see like the I guess you would call cloud of it, just a ripple effect. Misses the UK narrowly. Meant for UK. Kim Jong-un behind world attack. Forget Ukraine. This is much bigger. War on war after war. Paris seized, weaponized. So they're talking about Brazil throwing their hat in for the World Olympics. Big mistake. Not a money maker at all. Shut down this poop show. So I remember that they were showing I can't remember where it was, but they were showing that someone was throwing on Olympics, and they were showing the water, and there was garbage floating all around it, and the athletes were getting sick at the village. So, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people are and I'm not trying to diminish the accomplishments that these athletes, representing their country do. But I feel like they're getting to the point where we are involved in this world, and especially the generations coming up. I feel like it's something that's going to be a dying breed. So I feel like, we're going to come to a point where this no longer happens, is what they're kind of showing. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's nobody cares. I just feel like these generations coming up are totally different. You know, if you watch anyone on TikTok, they'll say the same thing. It's like, you know, when we were kids, we went through X, Y, and Z. We made sure that we did better for our children, and we're a lot more responsible and adulting. But it's like they are so broken, and it's just like, why? What happened here that they are so broken? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand the world of technology has made growing up a lot harder, but at the same time, it's like, you know, in certain circumstances, it's like, huh? You know? And you kind of scratch your head because it's like we had no choice but to survive, you know? So it's just kind of, I feel like that's what's happening. Like, I'm not trying to diminish people's accomplishments or diminish the fact that someone gives their life to this career. You know what I mean? I feel like it's something that is honorable. They're giving their blood, sweat, and tears like I do it to this. So it's just like that's what's their passion. You know what I mean? And I hate to say that because you know, I'm sure a lot of athletes will feel that way. It's sad to see that, you know, that's what's going to happen, but I feel like it's diminishing more. You know what I mean? I know for some countries it's clout. You know what I mean? That's why they'll sit there and they'll force people to do it. But I feel like in countries like Canada, in the US, it's just like there are fewer and fewer enrollment, you know? So I feel like in that way, they're more going towards technology, more influencers and everything. Everybody wants to be instantly famous, you know, in the world. So they're doing stupider and stupider things and riskier things. So I definitely feel like, you know, technology, you know, whereas it is a benefit in so many ways, it's also uh, changed the world and diminished a lot of things. So we're going to get into our channel cards. So Venus is all about love. You know, we are definitely heading into Scorpio season. You know, I feel like this is going within, like I said, healing that child, being that parent to our inner child. I feel like doing things that we love. You do see that fire there as well. You know, we definitely have fire here with the Nine of Wands in the channeled, but I feel like it's like a rebirth in love. You know, this is, you know, when we see this beautiful picture, it's the birth of Venus, right? And look at the way that comes out of a clam, and I feel like it's being presented like an engagement ring. So I feel like something is presented verbally and ends up becoming contractually binding. So it just depends where you are. So this could be, you know, at work, they verbally offer you something and then it turns into a contractual agreement. In love, you know, someone verbally says who they, maybe saying their affections, and then it, you know, it turns into an engagement that which turns into marriage. That's a binding contract. Or buying a home, signing a lease in that way. But I definitely feel like the way that the oyster opens this shell, the seashell, and Venus is born from this, you know what I mean? And Venus is born out of the water, so emotions, you know what I mean? We're talking about the solar eclipse. So it's like maybe bad tempers, maybe you lose your temper, you know what I mean? So it's just like watch how you articulate yourself. So we have Virgo as our next one, and I analyze the situation. So going back to the high priestess, taking a step back, having a seat, and just kind of like thinking about the situation, and piece after piece after piece will fall into place. And then you're just like, ah, it'll make sense. Because you're analyzing the situation, but you're not actually verbalizing it. It's like you will be able to get to the reason of all that happening. It'll just make sense. You know what I mean? But like they said, it's like, do not make big moves. Do not sit there and go for the jugular, they're saying here. So don't step over someone to get something because you think you're going to gain here, because you're going to fail. You know what I mean? I think you know what the situation is, and in poor taste you try to make this move, and it's just like, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? If you claim to be someone's friend or be there for them, don't go for the jugular when they're going through it. So, Nine of Wands. So this fire sign, you know, they're coming into the situation, but they're, you know, with this fire sign, it's like they're passionate. You know, this, you know, when we think about fire, we think about, you know, lust, we think about love, we think about, you know, this charming, sexy, vicarious person. You know what I mean? They're confident. You know what I mean? I feel like a protector, you know? You know, fire signs get that bad reputation that they cannot be monogamous. They have to have partner after partner because that's just who they are. To satisfy, to quench who they are, they need that to, you know, that part of them fulfilled. Sociability, definitely a social animal. Um, but that's what I mean. It's like acting out of your fire, acting out of your shadow fire. You know what I mean? Burning a bridge down, you know? It's like you got to think of the consequences afterwards. It's not just about that moment. Or you think you have the answers and you think you're able to achieve X, Y, and Z. And, but, you know, everyone's kind of looking at you side eye or like kind of tilting their head like, huh? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes people think they know who you are. Your shadow side, thirsty side comes out and it's just like, oh boy, you know, you really stepped in it this time. So we're getting into our Viking Runes. Strength was a channeled one. So they're saying something is about to combust. I feel like the lid is about to be blown off of something. Um, and I feel like if you allow your shadow side to come out in this, I feel like if you don't go with your moral compass, like, yeah, we can't always, you know what I mean? Sometimes things will benefit us in the, you know what I mean? But I feel like short term. I don't feel like this is anything long term. I really don't. Something's legally binding. So just watch what you're doing. So Euros, strength, the ox, the second is representative of the a wild bull. This is the stone of strength, endurance, hard work, perseverance, and motivation and determination. It can indicate a time of great energy, speed, and health. It can also show increasing power and masculinity. I definitely feel like my endurance is up again. Like, you know, definitely going through that cycle with my legs. I don't know. I feel like it was low vitamin D. I feel like it was lack of potassium. So it's like doing those things, you know, that definitely bring that in. Strength, endurance, health, courage, vulgar, vitality, force, perseverance, you know? And I feel like, you know, sometimes we feel like we can't get through certain situations in life, but, you know, we're able to persevere. Even though we don't know what's ahead of us, you know what I mean? It's just like they said, prioritize what's important and keep moving forward. Void, of course, just keep going the way that, you know, makes sense to you, and that's all you can do. So we have Destiny. Destiny has been definitely a strong card. So they're showing the Magician. They definitely talk about our Destiny there with, you know, we have all the combination of elements there that weaves magic into that one. And it's just like we're able to sit there and utilize our intuition. The yellow is really standing out. So utilizing our intuition as we move forward, it's like we're able to be successful in this. This is the Gambler's Rune, and such represents a cup of dice of fortune. It indicates that the influences in life may be down to chance and can so go either way, well or not. And I feel like that's the thing. I feel like don't do things out of thirst because you're thirsty for power or you're thirsty for a situation. It's like, well, this is going on. Let me be thirsty about it. It's like people are going to look at you side eye. The lesson here is to learn and take the hand that you've been dealt and make lemonade out of lemons. In the tarot, this would be similar to the Wheel of Fortune card. It can also represent hidden messages, secrets. So here we go, secrets. What is the High Priestess all about? Secrets. Have a seat, be patient, it will be divulged. And change. So, number 9, you know, we're going through this change where something's coming to an end and a new beginning starts, but it feels, you know, we don't know what's going on. We could feel the sense, you know. It's kind of like the full moon energy building in the sky. Tomorrow is literally the full moon, so, you know, maybe that's why I feel so hyped. Symbolizing the womb, so a rebirth, fate, mystery, feminine fertility, chance, fortune, mysticism, the unknown. So we don't know what's going on here. We're probably feeling hyped because of the full moon energy, and it's like, okay, like, how do we move forward? You know, how do we understand? Sometimes we don't know what's going on, but it's just like, take a step back, have a seat, and let things just evolve. Void, of course, you know, I'm sitting there, my legs are feeling better. I'm sitting there playing some tunes, you know, some of my favorite songs, and I'm cooking and I'm dancing around the kitchen. It's like getting back into the things that make me happy, getting back into the things that bring me joy. You know what I mean? And it's just like other people don't have to understand it. But it's like at the end of the day, it's your life. Do what makes you happy. You know, I'm sitting there dancing in the kitchen. One of my sons will come down and start dancing with me. Oh, you're dancing? Okay, let's dance. You know, it's just like, you know, why not? You know, life is about living. Start living it. So I feel like a gift is coming in here. I feel like it's from the universe. This is not known to you. This is something that's just coming out here. Like, um, I don't know if this Knight of Wands had anything to do with it. You know, why it's coming. I just feel like you were blessed in some way with something here. You know what I mean? With no harm to none, and so it is, you know? Take it. With a rebirth card, I could see a new puppy. I see a puppy here. I feel like you're just that type of person that you don't see a puppy or a dog as just a dog. You see them as family. You know, you love them unconditionally. So going to gift, Abo, gift, the rune of gifts, the positive symbol that indicates that you're in the presence of many gifts and talents, or that someone will bestow upon you bountiful blessings. And I definitely feel like, you know, where I've been saying it, Pastor West has been saying it, it's like gift after gift after gift, you know. Definitely see shining in the spotlight, but again, I definitely feel like know your place and really think things through. It also relates to generosity, balance, and positivity, relationships. Generosity, partnerships, gifts, talents, charity, service, assistance, luck, fortune. So I feel like assistance. I feel like being of service and assistance. I feel like that's where it's coming through. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like that's where we shine. Being of service and assistance. You know, doing things not because we expect something out of it. We do it because that's who we are. You know, unfortunately, some of us have gone through situations where we've been kicked down, and it's like we wish someone held their hand out and offered help. You know what I mean? I was people did offer me help, but I was just like I've been hurt and kicked down so much. It's just like I didn't want to take help from nobody because it was just like it was like what's attached to this? You know, what is this? What is this going to cost me? Like, is this going to cost me a pound of flesh? Like, what's the hidden motivation here? It's unfortunate. You know what I mean? But it's just like there were definitely genuine people that helped me, and you know, I can never put into words, articulate in words what it means to me that you know, these people, these beautiful souls that came into my life, and it was probably supposed to be for a period of time, and it's like a lifetime, you know. And I was already blessed and honor in one way with them, and it's just like, you know, in this case, it's like blessing after blessing. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like I've never had that in my life except with my dad. You know what I mean? Where it's just like a genuine compassion and love and respect and wants to see you happy and prosper and lift you up. You know what I mean? So I feel like when it's foreign to us. You know what I mean? And those are the parts of us that need to heal. It's just like not everyone is a villain. Not everyone is a vulture. So we have Joy, Wanjo, representative of the clan flag of victory. So we got some of this with the full moon forecast. It represents triumph, joy, security, safety, celebration, and belonging. And I definitely feel like that's a huge thing in life is belonging, you know? It can also indicate harmony, prosperity, spiritual rewards. And that's the thing. When they were showing like the Ace of Cups during the full moon, it's like not everything has to be a financial endeavor that comes in. You know what I mean? It could be a spiritual evolution. It could just be the way that certain things, like, you know, represent themselves and present themselves to you. Like with Yom Kippur, there was one that I saw. I don't think I ever watched it though. I was like, it looked like a musical event, and it's like an hour and a half. But I'm really grateful that I watched that because it was just the way that they were. He was like, you know, when you start putting the chairs and the books inside of a spiritual place, it's like people are sitting and they get bored. Everybody's standing up and dancing and really feeling like the presence of spirit. You know what I mean? Feeling and he, you know, one thing I really love about that kind of thing is like, you know, we sing Shalom Aleichem, and it's like inviting our ancestors, our loved ones, the people that have transformed, and it's like inviting them to celebrate with us. It's like it's not just about us. It's like about all of us. When we did the casting of our sins, when we were, with Rosh Hashanah, it's like not even my sins or my children's, like for my children's sin, for my family sins, it's like, for my past loved ones' sins, it's like, asking for forgiveness for everybody. It's not, you know what I mean? When you start thinking beyond yourself and for others, it's like that's when you really evolve, because it's like, you realize it's bigger than you. You realize that there's more to life than just you. Pleasure, joy, feasts. So definitely we in October we have Yom Kippur, we have Sukkot, which happens on Sundays at sunset, and then we have Shimshat Torah on the following Sunday. The Jewish people are going to hear me say this and they're going to laugh at me. Comfort, belonging, community, success, festivals. You know what I mean? And it's just like definitely like, when we talk about Sukkot, it's like going out having a picnic. Usually people come together and they stay up all night and they discuss the Torah. And it's just like, I won't be able to do that this year, unfortunately, but it's just like in some sort of shape or form I will participate. But it's just like, honoring that as much as you can, because they understand that, the world has evolved since our ancestors, where we'd be like, okay, everybody, take a seat and relax and, really feel the meaning of the festival, where now it's just like, well, you don't work, you don't get paid, you don't pay the bills. And, where we were talking about before, how they're trying to bleed us dry. So we have Halgaz, hail, representing natural form of disasters which strikes out of the blue and has the power to destroy much needed crops. Is familiar to indicative of the sudden and cumulus change, similar to the Tower card. Ooh. Halgaz represents an unavoidable change that is out of your hands. And I feel like that's what's happening. An unavoidable change that's out of my hands. And it's like, all I could do is I don't think it's as, I feel like it changes things. I don't think it's going to be as harsh as a Tower card with ourselves as like, the passing of Shane. It's like that was a real major. I don't feel like it's like that. I just feel like it's a change that everybody feels. But how destructive it ends up being is decadent on how we are capable of weathering its storm with grace. As they say, some storms can clear out the path. The lesson of Halgaz is to learn from our hardships and grow through our mistakes. It can know. I feel like it's like this comes in and it's like, how are we going to react to it? Are we going to make this a bigger thing than it is? Like, that's why they're saying the word respect. Exactly. So it's just like weathering the storm. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like it's a storm. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, go in and do what you're supposed to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it revolves around work, it's just like, go in and do what you've always done. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to make it a big deal. It won't be a big deal unless you make it a big deal. And there's just people that like to ching, 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 chirp, 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 run their mouth. Chicken heads is what I call them. They just like to run their mouth, and it's just like, you know what? Maybe you should be quiet. Destruction, natural wrath, uncontrolled force, testing, change, external input, change. That number 9, that was a channeled hexagram. I did not pull that hexagram. That was a channeled hexagram. Change is coming. I feel like with us, they're going to break us up. I feel like it's going to break us off into groups. I hope not. But it's how we make of it. Do, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, come in, do it. You know what I mean? Be a team. That's all you can do. Like honestly, it's like it shouldn't affect you. It's like you're supposed to come in, do what you're supposed to do, and that's it. It's like, yes, they're an added layer of comfort, they're an added layer of support, but at the end of the day, it's just like, it lays on you at the end of the day. What's your input for the day? If you're sitting there running, morale down to the ground, then it's just like, that's what they're going to see. Going back to your moral compass, would you want that happening to you? No, shut the F up. It's just, that's what I say. These chicken heads like to buck, 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 buck when they think they should be clucking. And it's like, maybe you should shut up before you lose your head. So here we go, torch. So even though, like, they were showing that picture I took last night where I was going to say the sun, The moon was trying to fight through the clouds, and it's like this, just the light radiated through. So even in this storm, the light can still radiate through. It's what you make of it. Like they said, prioritize your priorities. You know, this will only diminish and crumble to the ground if certain things play in here. So it's just like, don't add to the chaos. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be a chaos unless people make it that way. It's just like, shut up and do what you're supposed to do. So Kenaz, torch. So here's the light. As such, represents a beacon of truth and finding the true north, guiding your own shining light. And it can indicate that which has previously unknown may come to light. Where we were talking about channeled high priestess. You know, they have Boaz, they have Jehovah, the yin and the yang of life. They're saying the ebb and flow. Things come into our life and then they leave. And it clears the path to transform us, to show us what we're really made of. And it's like, you know what? We will endure. We will persevere. We will get through this. You know? It's just like, it's what we put, what energy force we give into it. Yes, it's double shadow, but we will persevere. Everything will be okay. They're showing November 8th. It can indicate that which has previously unknown has come to light. Secrets can be spilled. I feel like unless you spill them, they will be spilled. So do yourself a favor. The only way it spreads is fools sit there and cheap. You know something, keep it to yourself. Because it's, you know, just people want to talk. They want something. There's people, we all know this, in the places that we are, that just stir the pot. They just want to stir the pot. They take a step back and let everything just explode. And you're on the right path of finding your true calling in life. It can also mean knowledge, creativity, inspiration, regeneration, and energy. Enlightenment, knowledge, comprehension, insight, illumination, calling, purpose, idea. You know, it's just like I said, it only fools spread lies and just betrayal and all this. You know what I mean? I feel like when we go through things, it's to show people's true colors. You know what I mean? And you do not want to be on the wrong side of that. So we're going to start off with our cards. So we have Aries. So fire energy. We definitely got the Nine of Wands here. You know, I definitely feel like this spice to this thing. I feel like things bubbling up under a pressure cooker, and it's like ready to bubble over, like in the sense of where the lid's going to pop off. So the planet of action, all about energy, passion, self-starting, confidence. You know, think about fire signs: bravery, courage, strength, resilience, confidence. You know, leave behind all fear, worry, and doubt. You know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, with Aries, it's just like when we talk about the shadow side, because it's double shadow, it's like, you know, sit there and it's like control yourself. I definitely feel like it's controlling your emotions. I feel like people are going to pot stir. I feel like they were literally talking about this. They were saying, if you're being bullied at work, HR is going to take the bully side. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I feel like disengaged. I feel like, you know, sit there and be in your own little world. Because if your work only depends on what you do, then just sit there and do what you're supposed to do and go. Don't engage in none of it. Because if no one's engaging in it, no one's talking about it, you have nothing to say, it'll lose steam. Look at that, double fire, back to back. You know, sun, spirit. You know, we're talking about this evolution of ourselves. You know, it kind of looks like this a seashell here. They say it looks like the inner canal of our ear. So, you know, channel messages. Imagery, I feel like more. Clairaudience. You know, with the sun, you know, good fortune, happiness, joy, harmony. The universe coming together and agreeing with your path and aiding forward movement in something greater. You know what I mean? But I definitely feel like you were disengaging in things. I feel like, you know, like I just feel like your isolation. There's a reason for it though. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that is what's going to propel you forward. If we keep adding, they're showing logs to the fire, it's going to keep getting larger and larger. Chiron, hearing. You know, we were just talking about that with the sun card, with the way that the spinning of this. Looks like the shell. It looks like the inner ear canal. But it looks like this one's broken and this one comes to aid. This kind of looks like this. Yeah, Chiron looks like a key here. 8, success, healing, inner healing, healing of others, healing the fire. Look at all around here. It looks like fire. So with no harm to none, and so it is, we have the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like maybe news regarding work, news regarding financial endeavors is coming in 3 weeks' time. So I feel like it's like what we do with it. You know what I mean? I feel like if it's not yours to share, do not share. A time of rest and rejuvenation. Look at the colors here. We were talking about the Magician. The yellow is really standing out. Intuition. I feel like this is a time of rest and rejuvenation. You know? This is a very holy month for us that follow the Hebrew faith. Yom Kippur, Shakot, Simchat Torah. It's just like going within, learning things bigger than us, being that beacon of light. You know, definitely rest and rejuvenation. Didn't I just not say the world is well, not the world. Depending where you live, it's transforming. It's getting ready. We're preparing for winter. You know, the trees are going to, you know, we're probably going to start getting a lot of rain. The trees are going to fill up so they get their nutrients and everything over the cold and they don't have to worry about falling over. You know what I mean? So it's just like preparing, you know, preparing for the winter. I feel like it's just preparation. Maybe you're preparation for a battle before you can pick up the sword again. You know, I definitely feel like one thing I said to myself is I'm never going to, like, my shadow side tends to call me lazy. And I know I'm further from that, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like, how dare you sit down and do not, like, you know what I mean? You know, I feel like it's because it's like go against what the faith asks us and not to do any work. You know, yeah, you could do the dishes and take out the trash because of the things you need to do, but it's like, you know, working overtime or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I feel like in that way, it's just like, you know, doing what they ask of us, you know, because there's times just like now where I'm not able to, you know, do that all that is asked with these high holidays because I only have so much time I could take off of work. So it's just like, you know, as much as I can to do what is asked of me. What do we have here? The Hierophant, the pulpit, you know, higher levels of thinking. We have 2 individuals standing before the pulpit. This is usually a marriage, you know. I feel like standing before someone higher than us. This could be your boss at work. They're saying HR, which is not good. You know, look at the red of the cloak, crimson red, fire, passion. But I feel like that's where you have, you know, again with the keys, Chiron, keys. But I definitely feel like again we talk about, you know, a verbal agreement turns into a contractual agreement. But I feel like it's going against your moral compass here, you know. So I feel like being offered something, but I feel like you have a lot of qualities, but I feel like it's not, you don't have the experience or you feel confident in your abilities. And I definitely understand that. I personally like going in, doing what I need to do and go. If I, you know, I was lucky enough, a situation arose, I was like, dang it, you know, and then it was just like an answer came in and it's just like, either I could bitch and moan and do nothing or I could bitch and moan and here's the solution. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes it's like either suck it up and do what you need to do or shut up. You know what I mean? So for me, it was just like, you know what I mean? As tired as I was just like, this is the solution. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel like with the Ace of Cups. I feel like it's not just like, you know, answers to our problem. I feel like it's answers to our problems. I feel like it's like something happens and it's like, boom, here's the answer. It's like we may not like the answer, but it's an answer. So we have expansiveness. It's far more creative than rigid, constrained, and an exhausted ego. Yeah, I feel like what's coming up is an ego trip. I feel like, you know, and I'm not trying to be mean if you are a fire sign, this is not a bash against you, but I feel like, you know, what they typically say, fire signs are egotistic. I feel like someone's ego is coming in here. So truth, and here's that monarch butterfly. I feel like the Hierophant in a lot of ways is all about truth. Allow me, divine, to give you my deepest longing, trust, trusting. You too know exactly how to handle them. So, look what they're showing. Releasing a butterfly, you know, captivity, So I feel like being in a situation and release your path, you know? Wouldn't they say that this tower moment, this disturbance was to clear the path? Dear Lord, help me to trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see, though my fears and illusions. And that's, when we're talking about shadow, I said that's the biggest thing with me is the fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what, you know what I mean? Where I am right now, I never, and I was actually like, talking and reflecting about this today, where it's just like, you know, I could see how things played out the way they did because that's what I was able to handle. I see that, the better I become as the years go on, and I'm able to see more through why this situation happened. You know, I was able to see the true colors of those around me, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm not going to let it ruin or wreck the rest of my life. So it's just like, transforming. Didn't we just have the monarch butterfly? And it's like they were, they were showing like, someone had the caterpillar and its chrysalis in a jar. So it's hanging off this stick. You know what I mean? So now it's in this hibernative state, and now it's being born, hatching, and, coming out as a monarch butterfly. And it's our job to release. It's like, we kept them safe while they were in this vulnerable state. And now it's time for them to be born. We're literally walking today on the path and saw the caterpillar passing our path. Transformation. This caterpillar is going to find a place to sit there and, build this chrysalis around itself, protect itself, and then be born and transform into a beautiful butterfly. So I feel like when they're talking about, this moment, I don't feel like it's going to be major. I just feel like it's like, take it for what it is, but it's a transformative time. So individuality, exactly. Like snowflakes. Every person has their own personalized study plan in this earth school. Exactly. You know, I feel like you're going to see people differently. I feel like, you know, some is for the good, some is for the bad. And, I feel like it's like, what are you going to do with that information as you move forward? You know, some of us start to, distance ourselves because that's not something we want to be a part of. And some of us, it's just like, kind of blindly, you know, being a part of it. So to round off the rest of this, we're going to pull from the Circle of Life. This is part of the cards. So we see, this sun entity and we see this moon entity. There is a love story of how the sun would sit there and go down at night so the moon can shine her light. It's a love story. So a solar eclipse, they're together for that moment of time. You know what I mean? So lovers coming together. Two bodies, one silver and the other gold, rest together in a kind embrace. So we're talking about rest, this time of rest and rejuvenation. Their legs are tied together with green twine, and this circle of stone surrounds them in in their energy. The lovers test the boundaries of their relationship. And I feel like that's what's happening. Something's going to come in to test boundaries. And it's just like, who are you? How are you going to react to this? Is your ego going to be a part of this? The binding that holds them together forces them to dance to the enjoined beat. They are no longer alone, rely on one another to make things work. The circle around them defines the space that they need to navigate within. They are lucky to have one another as a resource to draw on when they are in need. Their relationship is a conscious choice that will last as long as they communicate and compromise. Making a choice to be together, passion, enjoying the time you have with others. Maybe this is not a forever relationship. Maybe this is a relationship for so long. I can't help but look at this. I'm not sure what they're saying, this circle here, but this looks like a cup, and I feel like emotions, and I feel like this is like the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups. I feel like you fill each other's cup. The circle, you guys complete each other. That movie One that they had with Jet Li, his wife had, one part of the necklace, and he had the other, and it's like when it came together, they were one. Isn't that what they always teach us? That there's two flames that combine together to make one unity, you know? So we were talking about this during the new moon, or excuse me, the full moon, and we were talking about love. It was a very much based around love, coming together, choosing to be together. So we have the Hermit. So I feel like, as we move forward from the new moon, and the light starts to come back in, I feel like we're choosing to move forward. It's like instead of going and retreating into the cave, into the solitude, we're choosing to go outside into the world, you know, and see what's there. A wise seeker sets out on his home in the desert. His tools tell the story of his wisdom. The book he holds contains the stories and things of his life. His staff contains the Obros, a symbol of infinity and the never ending life. Its circle around the waning moon. The hermit is alone and has only himself to rely on. And that's one thing we think, we are taught, alone. The biggest thing that a lot of us fear is loneliness, alone. And it's like we're never taught, that expansive thinking of your friends and family have transformed. They're surround you. They choose to be around you. What a blessing. What an honor. They can be anywhere in this world. And I feel like that's why they talk about resurrection. And I feel like, when Bill Jackson brought to light that there's been more than one, and you think about Atlantis, you think about the Mayans, you think about the Egyptians, you know, some of them were half human, half, outside entities. They say alien. You know what I mean? That some of them were, their parents weren't of this world. You know what I mean? And I feel like they were so evolved that they, they're not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be on a different plane. There's a new creative of a planet that they can live on, that they can evolve and be their true form. You know, I feel like that's what's happening here. There's some sort of evolution here in yourself. The hermit helps us to understand the quiet times we face when we're alone. He knows that they are worthwhile for spiritual enlightenment. Understanding yourself by being alone, being prepared to shine wisdom to others after you have learned it yourself. And I feel like, I used to say, like, why did I go through these experiences? Why did I have to go through that circumstance, in my childhood? These different scenarios that made it worse and worse and worse. And it's just like, what? Now I can sit there and come from a place of empathy for certain people I read with. I know someone that I read with has gone through that. And it's like we can empathize with each other because we both have gone through that, you know? And we can learn and grow from that situation, you know? We survived it. We were equipped with surviving, you know? And evolving from that. So we have the Nine of Cups. So they show this woman. I'm just going to zoom on it. This is not a traditional Knight of Cups. So I feel like very Cinderella with this. This is meant to break her back. But look how the universe is carrying her. And I feel like that's where they talk about with the hermit. Where these moments come in of isolation. It's like expand yourself to realize that you're not by yourself. That things will come in your feeds, things will come in your path that will encourage you or shine some light on this situation and be like, you're not alone. They were here carrying you. Didn't they say that when the footprints in the sand? That, there was two sets of footprints and at one point there was one. And then I realized in that moment Jesus was carrying me. And I feel like we go through those cycles in life. I definitely know that God put me under his wing and with my children kept us safe while we went through these transitions until we found peace. They carried us. I definitely feel like they gave me the strength to keep going forward in situations, the things that were brought in to help us make it through, you know, because that's what I could handle at the time. We don't understand. They only give us what we can handle, just like that situation. Think about when we go back to the hexagram, air is part of that. They talk about Shen, heaven. Even in our situations, what brings that light in? What makes it heaven to us? I got these cute little lights and I've positioned them around the living room. And it's just like, especially during these high holidays, it illuminates the room so much. It's like you can really see the fire of the candle. It illuminates the room where it's just like peaceful. It just brings in that chi. It just brings in that calm and that harmony. So that's why I feel like in certain things in our life, we've been carried through situations. Why? Because the universe has our back. And it's like sometimes we can't see that. We're too oblivious or we're too blinded to see it. A woman is carried into the air by birds. The load on her back seems heavy, and yet she is smiling. She seems to be happy to have a flock of helpers carrying her along her destination. If the woman hasn't accepted the help, she would had grown tired on her journey. The birds are unexpected blessings. Unexpected blessings. Going back to the page, you know. Where is my page? Over here. Unexpected blessings, Let me just zoom out a little bit here. I feel like this is where the page comes along. I feel like this is where this rest and rejuvenation comes along. I'm messing up my whole thing here. I feel like that's where this alone time comes in. Why? Because they know you need it. They know you need this. Maybe this time is before this lovers comes in, before your sun or your moon comes in. Remember, this is a conscious choice of two. You chose to be together. This card suggests that that creative solutions will come to you when you least expect them. I always notice that. Right when I'm like, wow, that's going to happen. And it's just like, boom, here's the answer. Creative solutions, uplifting feelings, accepting help. What was I talking about earlier? It is hard to accept help, especially if you've been in those situations where people have sat there and pooped on your head and made you feel less than for helping you. They always bring it up. They rub it in your face. Even though they won't tell the narrative the proper way, they'll tell it what best makes them look good. Oh, I've done this. I've done that. And I'm like, whatever. If that's what makes you feel good at night, whatever, man. I really couldn't care less. But you know what I mean? Like they try to paint everybody in this narrative. But they won't let you tell your side. They isolate you away from everyone so they can be seen in this light, Because they don't want to take accountability of who they are and what they've done. So I love this. He surrounds himself with this 10 of cups. I feel like, when we raise the cup, we raise the chalice. Very Shabbat. We raise the cup of wine and we say the Kiddush to bless the wine. And we share it amongst ourselves. 10 of cups, this is a yes card. This is the one where it shows a happy couple, happy children, happy home life. Two white dogs, the purity of the situation. They show multiple generations. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like this, just like my son. My son keeps seeing double rainbows everywhere. It's so crazy. But like this unconditional love is coming in. You know what I mean? Maybe this is a symbolism of like, after what you go through here, especially when they're talking about this tower moment, that you will be, thanking the universe for everything you go through. Like you could see that this is coming from, this kind of looks like a shofar. I'm not even kidding you. It's just spreading this golden light, this joy. What is a golden light to everybody? The sun. But I definitely see with Rising of the Chalice, we do that in a lot of spiritual ceremonies where they raise the chalice. the blood of Christ, in the sense with the Hebrew faith is, the blessing over the wine, as, we share it amongst others, and, you know, is this time of family and reflection and how the week has been, and if it hasn't been such a good week, to just let it go. What do we learn from it? It's a time to regroup as a family. With Sunday dinners. When people, they go to church, then they go to brunch, then they go to someone's house, they cook a big meal, and they share a meal together. It's regrouping after a long week. All week we're sitting there, on the grind, and then we get to woosah. You know, so I definitely feel like it's like raise a glass. Cheers. You know, salut. You know, sharing the wealth. We're sharing the wine. We're sharing the wealth. So I definitely feel like there's a positivity coming here. Maybe this is where that's coming in, is to clear this time for, maybe you feel like you're alone, and it's like, this lovers comes in. It literally happens with the new moon, with the sun and the moon being together. You know what I mean? For one magical time in the night, they are both together with the solar eclipse. So something coming full circle. Who knows? A man sits an armed fish. I thought it was a fish, but to me it kind of looks like a shofar. Raising his hands out in celebration, the fish coils protectively around him. The person in this card has reached a new height of his life. Now that he is on top, he will need to figure out what is next. He has a champion to help him get to where he wants to go, and fuel to get him there. The fish wears the armor because he knows that the journey may not always go as smoothly as possible. I always find that things don't go as smoothly, but it's still rewarding in the end. It's like, yeah, it is what it is, but we made it through. This card tells you to be proud and celebrate your achievements. Completion, expressing gratitude, celebrating a project completed. So I feel like celebrating this time of whatever this tower moment is going to be. I don't feel like it's going to be something, like a hammer on your head. I just feel like it's changing things, and it's how we react to it. I feel like in a work environment, it's isolating yourself from the situation. Like I said, with that video, they're not going to sit there and punish the person that starts all of it. They're going to punish you. So I feel like that's where it's like really paying attention to things that stick out to you. And it's just like, okay, that is some sort of way of the universe bringing that to my attention. Because, like, why did I happen to stop on that and watch it? It's resonating with you for a reason. It's a warning. It's like, so don't engage in garbage. You know what I mean? Don't, fan the flames here. So I feel like even though it's a solar eclipse and there's no light in the sky, I feel like the shadow is really going to be on fire. We were talking about verbal, so even though you feel like you're doing the right thing, it's just like I said, like disengage is what they're saying. So on the other hand, it's like, be proud of yourself. Hold up a glass in this victorious time. I would just definitely know, like, especially with this 10 of Cups, this is a yes card. I feel like it's like you will make it through this. Like I said, it won't be a smooth transition, but it's just like it will, when you get to the end of it, you'll just be grateful it's over. You know what I mean? Like they said, November 8th, 8th, 9th, 10th, there's something there. So, reunited is what they're saying. I would just definitely, take it for what it is. Try to be as positive as possible, And like I said, if you're able to disengage. I feel like you will see a lot of people in certain lights and just be like isolating yourself from certain others. I just feel like people are just not who you thought they were. So I hope you guys enjoyed this forecast and projections for the new moon in Scorpio. Tuesday, October 25th. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next Daily Tarot card.